Hello everyone, watch this review here where they look at the Wesley Dodds Sandman, not to be confused with the version that Neil Gaiman created, aka Dream of the Endless, although, this character does appear in some of his stories. And in fact, I believe that's how I originally learned about him, but this is my favorite of the characters who've used the name Sandman. He's a tortured soul who has the nightmares of victims and would-be victims, and feels obliged to don a cape and jacket and go out and fight crime with a sleep pellet gun. Now the bio here describes more of his JSA stuff, which is a bit different from what I've read. I've read the stuff that some of the Neil Gaiman trade paperbacks than some of the other imprints, but those were all solo work. As for the wave itself, this is a heavy JSA themed wave. This is the 19th one. And the Collect and Connect is S.T.R.I.P.E, who I honestly don't care about. I will definitely be picking up Stargirl though. Will I buy the rest? Only time will tell. Sandman comes with Stripe's left leg, and if you think this looks a little familiar, you're right. It bears a, well, probably more than coincidental, striking resemblance to S.T.R.I.P.E's left leg, and that would be because they used basically the same sculpt for it. Can't tell if it's exactly the same mold, but if you look at the two side by side, you'll notice a lot of similarities, especially at the top, where you have the little indent there, the circular part here. The big difference is you have this additional plate for shielding on the side, which is absent there. Knees are different, although it's the same design for this. They come up to different parts. I think that's because they bulked out the bottom of the shoe here with this different track, whereas the other one has this here. So, and then of course you have the little button here, same patch here. Yeah, it's basically the same thing. On the inner side you have a fully sculpted thing. This is exposed parts. In fact, when I first saw S.T.R.I.P.E, I was like, wait, why does he looks almost identical to S.T.R.I.P.E? But they do have some pretty significant differences. It's just that used mostly the same sculpt. But I'm getting completely off topic. Sandman comes with one accessory, his little pistol here, which fires off his sleeping gas thingy pellets. And of course it's made in China. It clips around his waist here, and although technically he can carry it in either hand, only the left one has the fingers set up so it can sort of fit the trigger area. I mean, granted, there is a small bit of leeway. Kind of like that. Offhand, I can't remember if the character is actually left or right-handed. I mean, I suspect probably left because they do that, but I mean, it's not completely unheard of that they end up botching that. Design-wise, this is just the same Clark Kent / Riddler body with a few tweaks here and there. Notably, we have the little clasp not present in the other versions. And then, of course, the head sculpt is completely new. And he gets a cape to help set him apart. I mean, but, it is a functional body, so it's not like completely unheard of for them to like reuse it, even though you should probably recognize it as a glance as well. Then you'll notice that he has gloved hands with little markings and stuff, just to demonstrate that they're gloved rather than simply repainted from something, which is a nice touch. You'll notice the little creased fabric and stuff. On the whole, I suppose Sandman is a mostly unremarkable figure, being a largely recycled sculpt with minor retooling, and also not having like a lot of paintwork or anything, but at the same time, I am a fan of the character, so I'm definitely happy to see him in a super articulate form. Previously, he was available as a DC Direct, but the ones that I saw didn't even look all that great, so, this is basically 2-in-1, and, it is a decent sculpt in the first place, so I guess why not use it in this case? Just to give you an idea of scale, let's bring in Superman as usual. The fact that, he's a little bit shorter, kind of fitting, given that, he's just an ordinary guy. Although, come to think of it, if this is just the same mold as the Clark Kent, it should be the same height as Superman, shouldn't it? That is a puzzler, isn't it? Or ruler, even. Yeah, not even going to bother thinking about that, because I probably won't ever get the Clark Kent to really verify that 100%. All in all, again, it's something that fans will definitely like. People who don't have the emotional investment might not be as attached to. Of course, the mask sculpt is really cool. I also sort of wish that they'd done a variant version of him with a more modern look, with the other mask, which had the long nozzle trailing off. Also, in case you didn't make the connection, you aren't familiar with the character at all, the mask is completely functional, because when he fires his sleep pellets, that gas is all over in the air, and the mask is protecting him from his own weapon, or weapon of choice, although supposedly, again, in the comics, he's a martial artist or something, but eh. So yeah, this has been a look at Wesley Dodds, or, well, the Sandman. But yeah, this is Wesley Dodds Sandman. Not to be confused with the Dream of the Endless, because the two characters look so much alike, right? Yeah, until next time, folks.